Hello and welcome to the Strength and Hormones podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Papanos, and today we are going to be talking about the role that nutrition and hormones play in prevention of the top leading causes of death in women and how to prevent these common diseases from occurring and the common denominators that you'll find happen and occur with diet and hormones. So we're going to be discussing cardiovascular disease. We'll be talking about cancer and kind of following up on our conversation from last week. And then we'll also be talking about one of the connections hormonally and nutrition related that happens in both Alzheimer's and type 2 diabetes. One of the things that many women are not aware of is that the leading cause of death in women is actually cardiovascular disease. And the hormone estrogen plays an incredible role in the health of our heart. If women do not have adequate estrogen levels, which can happen in the case of something called hypothalamic amenorrhea, where women essentially aren't having a regular menstrual cycle, this will lead to low estrogen levels, and that will actually negatively impact your heart health. And we want to make sure that we are understanding and supporting our estrogen levels. Estrogen is very driven based off of the nutrients that we eat and how much we eat, because our food that we eat and nutrition actually provides the building blocks to be able to make hormones. So, nutrition plays a role in every hormone that's made. But when we see low estrogen levels in women, very often it can be because there might not be enough of those building blocks, whether it's lack of vitamins and minerals or lack of caloric intake to meet your body's energy needs to be able to make adequate estrogen. So this is something that, we can really understand more thoroughly through lab testing. And I talk about in this episode as well, what are some of those tests that would be very helpful in that type of situation. And also some people are at risk genetically for things like cardiovascular disease. And there are actual genetic markers that you can test for so that you can understand dietary modifications that you can make early on to be able to prevent those genes from being triggered through lifestyle. So, I think that a lot of people believe that genetics is the only driver of some of these common diseases. And in this episode, I want to really get across that there's a lot that we can do in our power, but it has to start at a young age. And so I know that, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, these might not even be things you're thinking about yet, but the work happens now, and it's making those changes now and continuing to make those for many years. That is what is actually going to change these cells and how the cells are programmed in the body. Remember that nutrition is literally information for our cells. It's telling our cells how to function. And so if we're putting in the wrong nutrition, then it's very possible that we're going to see malfunctioning of cells, or we're going to see genes get turned on that are not genes that we want turned on. So we have the power to be able to influence that through the exact ways that we take care of our body at a young age. We also talk about the role of a common hormone. One of them is insulin, and how the insulin levels and our body's insulin sensitivity also impact things like Alzheimer's risk as well as type 2 diabetes. And we talk about how in situations that there might already be something like Alzheimer's developed or developing, some of the alternative nutrition strategies that are really important when the body is essentially starved of fuel, which is what happens when the brain is insulin resistant. So head on over and check out this episode where we talk more about all these subjects, and let me know what you guys think.